So going live.
45.
344. Okay, we are good. Go.
Thank you for hanging out with us. This is the one and only IT and the D Show, episode 344. We had a phenomenal guest this week. Jason Charnas is in the house from JBS Human Services. We're going to be talking to you about, I guess, getting help career-wise, financial-wise, I guess, during the quarantine. It's a little heavy on a lot of people, and we're hoping we can bring some good. Definitely looking forward to this conversation.
Important topic, man.
Yeah, and then we're also going to be talking about all the good stuff being cropped up in the house, the movies, and all the other garbage we're watching.
Cool.
Dave, you may fire when ready.
You're listening to the Podcast Detroit Network. Visit www.podcastdetroit.com for more information.
The following program is intended for mature audiences.
I'm Wyatt, that's Gary, you're Bob, and you're Dave. This is the IT and the D Show.
This is Max Headroom. And what you're about to witness is one of the most sinister-sounding intros to a trailer to one of the greatest epics ever.
This is Billy D. Williams. Bob and Dave and I are enjoying a Colt 45 right now. And remember, IT in the D, it works every time.
Where do you guys think you are? The Library of Congress? Detroit? Beyond the sun? Any of those right?
Take him to Detroit. No, not Detroit. No, please. Anything but that. No.
You will never find the more wretched hive of scum and villainy.
Then don't come. Shut up.
Hey guys, it's Time Off. Bruce Leroy from The Last Dragon. You're listening to the IT&D Show.
Hi, this is Christy Swanson, and you're listening to the IT in the D Show. And Bob and Dave touch my hoo-hoos.
This is Guilfoyle from Silicon Valley, and the only two guys I hate more than Dinesh are Bob and Dave. Suck it, guys.
What's up, everybody? This is Billy Zapka. Sweep the leg. Listening to IT in the D Show. No mercy.
I may have to voice the guitar.
I just David Kay, the voice of Professor Xavier. Storm, come here, Storm. Sit up my lap, Storm. You're listening to IT in the D.
Are we at a break yet?
Everybody, this is Ted DiBiase, the $1 Million Man. You're listening to IT in the D. And if you want to get your money's worth, stay right here. And remember, everybody's got a price for the $1 Million Man.
This is the native man.
Hi, I'm Ernie Hudson, and you're listening to IT in the D. All you nerds out there.
Nerds.
Nerds!
What is a nerd?
Hi, this is Ogre. You listen to a bunch of nerds on the IT in the D? Nerds.
I'm a nerd, and I'm pretty proud of it.
Hey, Detroit, this is Anthony Michael Hall. You're listening to my buddies Bob and Dave on IT in the D.
Hi, it's Count Chocula, and you're listening to IT in the D. Whatever the hell that is.
Hey, what up? This is Jay Muse, and you're listening to the IT and D Show. Snooch to the nooch. Listen, Muse, Snoogans.
This is Scott Steiner, Big Pump. IT and the D Show is your hookup. Holler if you hear me. This is Robert Hayes, Jet Striker to my mother. When I'm not hanging out at my gumbo bar, I'm listening to the IT and the D Show. It's worse than Detroit.
Is there such thing as a meat hangover?
I love my Monday meat steak.
Hi, this is Jeremy London from Mallrats, and I'm just wondering, how did I go from Hot Floridian Sex with Brandy spinning to the IT and D Show?
Hey, folks, this is WWE Hall of Famer Hacksaw Jim Duggan, and you're listening to the IT and the D Show. Tough guy. Ho!
Dig you IT geeks. This is Dre Mateo from Sons of Anarchy. You are listening to IT and the D.
Skeptical Dave is skeptical.
Hello, everybody. This is Ming Chen from AMC's Comic Book Man. I'm a techie. I'm a nerd, fellow podcaster. My favorite podcast is IT and the D.
Hi, this is Kelly LeBrock from Weird Science. So, Bob and Dave, what would you little maniacs like to do first?
The question isn't what are we going to do. The question is what aren't we going to do?
Ludicrous speed! Sir, and you better buckle up. Now buckle this. Ludicrous speed! Go!
I was just thinking how long the intro is. And now I'm even more bummed. You don't have Skolnick in there. Debo's not in there. We have like Grandmaster Flash isn't in there. We have so many like awesome.
I literally have to just scrap and start over. And I'm not gonna lie. Mikey, if you're watching, if you're listening, I'm totally gonna steal Mikey's idea with what they do with their intro, where they have like all of their people that are going, hey, this is so and so, and you're listening, so and so, and you're listening, so and so, and you're listening, and then all of them are going to the show, to the show, to the show, to the show, to the show. So yeah.
I don't like that. Mikey sucks. But hey, this is episode 344 of the One and Only IT.
Hi, Mikey.
Show.
Love you. Hi.
We're broadcasting live here from our own houses. This is Bob the Sales Guy. That is Dave the Geek. Randy, I do the Twitters, is doing the Twitters. Find us online, itandthed.com. Do us a favor, give us a like on the socials, and subscribe to us everywhere fine podcasts are sold.
Hey, and as it has been the norm for the past few weeks, this is the time of the show where we always talk about our upcoming events. And there are none. We got nothing. This is all we have going in our lives to keep us good and sane and stable. And so here we are. And God, I hope this ends soon because I need people in my life. I need some peopling. I need an event. I need not a lot of people, not a lot of them, but like a few. Like I need like a Temple Bar crowd. I don't need a post Novi crowd, but I need like a Temple Bar crowd in my life.
See, we've been doubling, like me and my wife finished Ozark, so that's kind of been our thing. And my daughter, we've kind of bonded on 80s movies and bad rap. So we've been going back and forth. I made her watch Airplane the other night. Then I made her watch 0 Hour to
nice.
We watched Can't Buy Me Love. I mean, we're going.
Oh, dude.
We're digging really deep in the Pretty in Pink.
Did she enjoy the African Anteater dance? That's the important part.
Indeed. Pretty in Pink, I'm not going to lie, it's an awful movie. I don't like.
What?
Dude, watch it now. Her character sucks. Andrew McCarthy sucks. Steph sucks. Ducky sucks. The whole movie. The only one that's good is the lady from the
Dice?
Store. And Dice. Like, the character is awful. Like, it's a bad,
Dude, I watched that not too long ago. I don't know. Maybe I got to go back and watch it again. Have you done Some Kind of Wonderful yet?
No, that's on the list. There's there's 3 or 4 more. The one thing that I saw that made my blood boil is they are redoing Valley Girl.
What?
Yes, there's a trailer out, and it is a pile of toilet. And when I mean a pile of toilet, I'm being very polite.
Dude, how is that even relevant in today's day and age?
Dude, it's not even. It's based in the 80s, so it's like a remake of the time period. Also,
again,
those are always
fun. How is that even relevant these days?
I don't know. Like, yeah, because like it's funny because like I'm watching these movies and like, oh, you can't be on this side of the lunchroom because that's where all the cool kids are, and it's like, well, you're a punker, and they're looking at him all weird, and they're like, dude, he's dressed like. They're all dressed the same. Like
they're all dressed. Yeah, it's yeah.
It's like this ostracizing that was going on. It was awful. But hey, we got a great guest this week, and like I said, we always try to look for ways to, I guess, help people or make people better. And we got reached out to by our good friends at JVS Human Services, and we were allowed to let Jason come on the air with us. So how you doing, sir?
Hey, I'm doing well, Bob. Dave, thanks so much for having me. It's an absolute pleasure to be joining you this evening.
No, absolutely. Likewise, the last time we had you on, I believe you guys were talking about your recycling program where you were taking kind of used computers and then you were selling them, and they were funding that to getting people that were like, I remember the story of the guy missing 2 arms, that they got a job as a picker at Amazon at one of the warehouses. Like, got him, got some prosthetics, got him trained, got him actually gainful employment.
Yeah, you've got a couple of different programs mixed into one story, but yeah, we do an electronics recycling program and hard drive shredding to a pulp to employment for people with disabilities and working with Amazon. We do a lot of great stuff for the community.
Yeah, and I guess timing couldn't be better right now because I think there's a lot of people that are very frustrated. You have people that couldn't get small business loans that are looking at you, Ruth's Chris, that got your $20 million. There's people that are hitting control refresh at 5 a.m. every day to get into Michigan unemployment.
Yep.
Talking about money being dried up. And so I guess, is there a light at the end of the tunnel? I guess talk to me.
There's absolutely a light at the end of the tunnel. I don't know how long that tunnel is.
And is it an oncoming train? That's
right. Well, it could be that light also. The light is there somewhere. Look, one of the things that we do, and one of the taglines at JBS is inspiring hope. Is there a positive outlook? Absolutely. Is it tomorrow? No, unfortunately, it's not. We're going to have to get through something as a community, right? As family, with friends, to push through the tough times and get ourselves to the point where employers are starting to be able to rehire. People that are furloughed can get off of that furlough and get back. But that's going to take time before everybody is. And then there's plenty of people who, at the end of the day, their employers aren't going to be able to reopen. And that's really where I see us stepping in with JVS and our employment services.
Now, that's the $1 million question going on right now, is what is all this? I don't know, you guys don't have a crystal ball and you don't really necessarily know. You might have a better gauge than we do, though, is what is this all going to look like on day one, right? Are the restaurants going to come back? Is the service industry going to be anything what it used to be? Are people going to flock?
I think the interesting stat I heard today was because Sweden just quote unquote reopened within the past few days or past week, and restaurants are at 7% of their prior to shutdown volume. Movie theaters are at 3% of their prior to shutdown volume.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have a magic ball, and I don't have any government officials or anything like that. I can't say what it will be. I don't know which industries are going to be first. I go in a mix of listening to too much news to shutting it out and realizing that it isn't so good for my mental health to listen to everything that's going on. But
especially now that things are getting political, right?
Political.
Yeah, that's the one thing I wish. That's the one thing I wish. Like when we were talking earlier, I wish it would. They always talk about 9/12, which is the day after 9/11, where there was no more political parties and everybody's kind of came together as a country. And it would have been nice if that would have happened now, but apparently we're being more divided, which doesn't help anything at all.
Well, and we've talked about that before. I mean, that's the weird thing, is that lasted for a good 5-6 months, maybe.
Sure.
After 9/11.
Well, that was. If you ever remember George Bush throwing out the first pitch, I believe it was at a Yankees game.
Yeah.
And man, if you didn't have a tear in your eye, I don't care what political party you are, that was a moment. And I think that's the thing that we don't have right now. Is right now I put it on ESPN and it's kids playing video game NASCAR, right? We don't
Pog.
have that.
Yeah, it's Pogs. It's the rock paper scissors tournament from 7 years ago. It's the.
Yeah, it's look, it's tough. It's tough. And look, where we sit and where I sit at JVS, we've got a group of staff that are there to work with people that are looking for employment. My reality today is people are worrying still about really the basics. They're worrying about the safety of their family. They're worried about shelter. They're worried about food. And then the fortunate government side, the fortunate is unemployment is there. The people that are furloughed or unemployed are getting an additional $600 a week. That makes a big difference, so that people aren't, they're not anxiously awaiting in some ways. And it gives us and gives them a little time to take a breath and focus on themselves and start thinking about whatever new normal is going to be. New normal can be going back to that job after that furlough is lifted. New normal could be this being the moment where you look into the mirror and say, that career I had for the last 10, 15 years was wrong for me, and I've got to figure out what that right career is. I want to get back to that same career, that same industry, but the employer I had isn't rehiring me. They've considerably downsized, or they're no longer in business, and I've got to get back out in there. And I've had a job for a long time. It's time to work on that resume. What does networking look like? Forget about what did networking look like in January. what is networking going to look like when we reopen? I know you guys do lots of networking events.
Are you going to want to hop into a room with 100 people and shake everyone's hand? No.
Yeah, are you going to do that tomorrow? I don't think so.
We were still going to go on with our event, I believe, and we were going to do a handshakeless networking before everything got serious and got shut down.
Sure.
We were like, okay, I guess
literally until it was closed and we could not. Like, I want to do the kid and play kick step as the handshake. That was my suggestion.
Right. So we're not doing that with networking. Will we be? Won't we be? I don't know. But in terms of employment, people have to figure out, what is that next step if they're just furloughed and they believe strongly their employer is going to reopen and rehire. It's just going to take some time. Then they're probably in the best shape that we can talk about. But there are people that may have been in that job for a long time and have not gone on a job search looking like it does today and used LinkedIn or gone on Indeed and really done those thorough job searches or figured out what networking is going to look like. And that's where our staff at JVS are able to step in and walk people through that process. In March, when we started thinking, maybe we're going to have to start doing we weren't even talking about the word social distancing. We started buying webcams for our staffs with the idea that if they couldn't meet face to face, we could do something like this. And our staff can talk through how to write your resume and what should it look like, help people with format, help people with job search. And we could do that. We could do that by way of Zoom, by way of Microsoft Teams, by way of any number of video platforms. So we're set up to be able to do that. Our staff are ready to go, and we're doing it a little bit, and we're ready to do it. We're ready to do it for those that are ready for that assistance. And and there's a lot of things that people can do today to situate themselves, put yourself in the position for when that economy opens back up. When employers start to hire, that they can set themselves up to be at the front of the line. They've already got their resume ready to go. They've already started thinking about, who are my new references? What can they say? Do I know people that are going to speak really positively about me to this future employer? In their best case, that new reference, those references are going to be in that company, have a relationship with that HR director, with a VP, with the boss, because networking at the end of the day is still networking. When we, before this whole coronavirus thing started, we heard loud and clear, people that were getting jobs not because they found a job online and applied to it. It was because of that networking. They knew somebody who knew somebody. They knew somebody who worked at that company who would put in a good word.
Oh, for sure.
Somebody who worked at a business who knew of an internal job opening, said, "Oh, Jason, you've got to apply for that job."
I mean, that's the core of everything that's why we've been doing events, for, coming up on 2 decades now, because we're old. We've done, the 10 commandments of networking shtick at, whether it's the Shifting Gears program with MEDC or places like PenguinCon or other cons and that kind of stuff. But there's something you touched on that it really hit home for me, just because I'm seeing so much of it on both sides now, where I am seeing people that have been in the service industry for a long time that are now saying, you know what, this has been fun. I don't want to do this anymore, and it's time for me to transition into something else. And then I've also seen the flip side where, hey, I've been in office job, whatever, for a long time now, and I think this has made me realize I don't want to be doing this anymore, and it's time for me to be doing something else. So how do you, or how does JVS talk to someone looking to make that career transition? Because I think that's one of the hardest things that people go through. I mean, we all know, or at least should, working your way up a food chain and working your way up a career path and all that kind of stuff. But when it comes to, hey, I'm a project manager in the construction industry, and I think I'm ready to hop over into the IT field, or I'm a bartender and I want to learn how to be in IT, that kind of stuff. Like, how does JVS work with those kind of people?
Yeah, Dave, it's a great question. So we have a team of master's level counselors and social workers that are our career counselors. They work individually through a really customized process, about a 10-week on average process, where they're doing a variety of assessments. They're helping these people gauge what are their interests, what are the skills, what do they like doing, what do they not like doing. They do inventories, they do Myers-Briggs, and a variety of other assessments to help somebody to determine what that next career would be. So somebody might come in saying, this is what I want to do. I think the assessment may go through the process and say, you're right. Or it may say, you know, actually you were in the right job. You've got the right career path. It just so happens maybe the company wasn't right for you. Maybe the supervisor wasn't right for you, but you're in that right career path. Or we get a lot of college grads that are like, okay, so I've got that bachelor's. What's next? I don't really know what I want to do. And so our staff are really great at walking people through that process. It's a great program. It's a great process that we've built over the years.
Well, so not only that, but at least, I mean, I guess that's one of the things, God, and I guess that's something we need to figure out too is, you know, like you were saying, God, what is networking going to look like at the end of the day? I mean, we've kind of prided ourselves and built up these events as, you know, come together and get to know people in the industry. Because to your point, we've said a million times, it's not what you know, it's who you know, when it comes to finding a new job, because it's that, you know, that person that you know, in the company or in the industry or you know, in that role that will get you past, I don't have that bullet point on my resume that they think they're looking for, or I don't have, you know, that specific skill that they're looking for, but you know, I can learn it. And so let's go ahead and dive in. So, I mean, I guess that's it. Like, what are you telling people about, you know, what networking tomorrow is going to look like?
It's a good question. I don't know that anybody really knows what networking is going to look like when we reopen. We know it's going to look different.
Now.
And I've got some good answers for you. I'm going to give them to you, Dave, but you got to build up a little bit to the answer. Look, I think networking, as we sit today, is actually going to benefit some of the introverts, maybe more than the extroverts. You know, the extroverts can walk into a room, shake some hands, establish a relationship and a rapport really quickly. And that networking is a great thing. What would I say people should be doing now? I think people should be going through, if you're laid off, furloughed, employed, but unsure, I'd be building my network on LinkedIn as well as I can, and really making those connections. If I were to give that advice, I would say to somebody, call up those coworkers you were working with, offer to write a recommendation for them on LinkedIn. Then see if they'll also reciprocate, write a recommendation, build those recommendations from coworkers, from past supervisors, from the boss. Those are valuable. You should be putting that LinkedIn address right onto your resume. Forget about your actual, you know, street address. Forget, that's old. You want to put your LinkedIn address and not, you know, LinkedIn/Jason3942CL, right? You want to set that up, and you can edit it. So it's LinkedIn/Jason Charnas. Make it who you are. I
can't tell you how many times we've had to have the conversation with people. Get yourself a decent email address. You are not Big Daddy 6969 at gmail.com when you are sending out your resume.
It's Big Papa.
Gmail.
Oh, I'm sorry. Bob is Big Papa was better.
sorry. Right. But even AOL, we see people coming in with AOL addresses. AOL address doesn't show you know how to work with technology. It doesn't show you're keeping up with what's going on around you. You know, you don't want to have your birth year, you know, in your email address. When you're 14, it's fine, I guess. But if you're a professional and you're looking for it, establish a professional email address. Keep the Big Poppy or whatever it is, Bob, you know, for your buddies and for your gaming.
See, we're telling a lot of people right now, and I mean, at least the advice I'm giving, and you know, take this as you will, but like now is a great time to train, especially in IT. That one cert that he alluded that one class that you wanted to take on Udemy that was you didn't have time for, cleaning up technical debt. I don't care if that's redoing your folders on your PC to actually working on, like technical debt. Now's a really good time, because when you come out of this, and you got to talk to somebody. I think that's going to be one of the first questions is, well, how did you use your time during the quarantine?
Absolutely. There's lots of classes people can take. Just because you can't show up to a community college, you can't walk in somewhere. What is that one piece that at the end of the day, you knew you struggled on technically, whether it's an advanced Excel for some proficiency, or if it's programming, IT something, whatever it is, look, at some point we're going to have seen the end of the internet and we're going to realize it wasn't worth it. We're going to finish up streaming everything there is on Netflix and Amazon Prime, and we're going to beat all those games. So what's next? There's no sports. Might as well figure out how, when you come out of this again.
Let's be honest, we're not watching the Tiger King again. We're not. We're
Once was riveting, but once was enough. But so what's next? How do you, when you're able to get that interview, and you're interviewing now in a job, and I just saw something like 21% of the state is filed for unemployment. That's up from 3.6%. That's a 17% increase. Over 1 million people are currently unemployed. So how are you going to set yourself out from them? You're going to walk into that interview and say, for those 5, 6, 7 weeks, 3 months, I was laid off. This is what I did, right? Not just, by the way, I've become a great baker and I learned to make donuts and bagels, but that's not going to get me a job wherever I go. It's going to, need me to buy new pants. So what's the, what are you doing? How are you setting yourself out and apart from everybody else? It's
I just attach a photo of my bar to my resume. That's what I bring to the table.
I mean, I would hire you for sure.
Company parties happen in my basement.
We can talk offline, Dave.
What's an engagement look like? Like, let's say I call you tomorrow because I need help. What does that engagement look like with you?
Yeah. So I talked about our career counselors who go through this process with people who don't know what that next career is. We work with a lot of people who have a job target. They know what they want to do. They just need some help getting there. And so these two processes are really different. The people who have a job target and want help, we have staff that are helping with resume writing. We have staff that are helping with networking, setting up LinkedIn profiles for people and giving some suggestions and advice on that. Going through job searches. Where do you look for job? How do you do it? People may need help with an application. We're working with people across the spectrum, from GED to master's level and beyond. I mean, there is no cookie cutter for who our staff are working with and who they're really trying to help. Our goal is to help this community the best we can, and doing whatever it is that they can do. So the process is for people, they can call, they can email. I've got my email address right next to my name. They send me an email.
Good. I will. I'm going to pop you up as the spotlight video here, so people can make sure they can see that for a moment.
Fantastic. So send me an email, employmenthelp@jvshumanservices.org. I will reach back out to you. Make sure you give me a phone number so that we can talk. I'm going to ask you some questions. What is that job target? What does your employment history look like? And then I'm going to set you up with one of my staff who are going to work one-on-one with you. Ideally, they're going to do it in this video sense, right? But if not, if people don't have or aren't comfortable, we're going to make a phone call and we're going to set this up over the phone. And we're going to work through that process and get people ready for when those jobs are there. By the way, there are jobs available today, depending on what industry. The grocery stores are hiring like crazy. People that want to do the delivery of groceries, those jobs are there and available. Our staff can help people walk through that application process as much as they can. Really big picture down the line, getting people set up.
Well, and I think that's one of the things that happened is, I mean, so let's be real. I mean, 2019 was really I mean, the running shtick, Detroit hustles harder, and, this is Detroit. Everybody has a side hustle. I think 2019 was really the year where those side hustles became main gigs for a lot of people. And so your Uber / Lyft / Shipt / whatever suddenly found themselves in a very weird place where, okay, that got good enough where I left my day job, and now I was doing this side thing as a full-time thing. Oops. Now what?
Look, everybody, I think we're going to come out of this, and some people are going to have to do hustle on any number of those, and whatever that gig's going to look like. And what is it going to look like when we get out of this? And it gets to, I'm not even going to guess. Is this going to be May, June, July? I don't know. But I think everybody's got to be going into this with an idea that what they did may not be available. The way they did it may not be available. I don't know at what point my staff are going to be sitting down face to face with people. We have a computer program. We one of the things that at JVS we're trying to do is get people the skills to get that next job. We run a Microsoft Office training program. So many jobs require computer skills. We have that computer lab set up. I don't know when we're going to be sitting down running those computer classes the way we were. So people have got to get up and figure that the way they were working isn't going to be. I don't know any business that's going to open up fully to the way they were doing it. Everybody's going to be changed.
Well, and I think that's part of it. I mean, you had so many companies that went to the open plan where, they were just like cubicle farms with 4-foot walls, and everybody was just packed and crammed together.
Or even worse, just a bunch of IKEA tables.
Yeah. So, I mean, maybe that's not a viable business model moving forward.
Hey, my company resembles every mark, Randy.
My old company did too.
I mean, that says right now showing back up to work wearing a mask, which doesn't seem like the way that we're all comfortable working. But then again, working with a mask is better than sitting at home not working. So, we're going to see a lot of, look, the grocery stores have put up plexiglass everywhere. So I don't know. I mean, everything's going to look different when we go back to work. I mean, you guys are all doing this remote thing. I think a lot of businesses are going to realize that maybe the remote work works. Maybe there's a way we can do that, and we can cut overhead, and we can go back and get people a laptop and a webcam once those are available on Amazon again, and we can do it.
Out, yeah. Well, and I do. I think that's going to be one of the things that with any luck will change. Is, I mean, there are quite a few companies out there that have been so vehemently against, telecommuting or working from home and that kind of stuff in the past, that hopefully are seeing metrics that say, okay, our staff is just as, if not more so, productive when they're working from home, because we were forced to let them do it at this point. So, okay, moving forward, as things start to open up, do we have to recreate that same set of rules? Do we have to, start bringing those people back in all the time again? Or can we let them work at home? Maybe it's not all the time, but, maybe, 2, 3, whatever days a week, and we balance. But I mean, it's going to be an interesting,
what? I mean, I was going to say, here's the thing, Dave, we're going through that right now because we went through a no work from home policy, and now we got forced into it. Right now, and we talked about this last week, is we're seeing that we're getting cleaner code. But what we're not seeing is shadowing was a big deal by us. So if you didn't know PowerShell, for example, you're going to go shadow with the PowerShell guy or girl, and you're going to figure out, or you're going to learn, some command prompts.
Right.
If you don't know how to admin pure store or pure array, right? You're going to go sit with Pine and you're going to learn the pure array. You know what I mean? Like that's stopping. So while we're getting cleaner code, we're not getting the collaboration, the cross training, the continued education, which gets fostered in a working together environment. At least that's what I'm seeing. Maybe I'm I'm off on that.
I mean, Bob, I see it. It's way more difficult to collaborate when you're working in a remote environment. You have to really make an effort. You can't just walk out of your office, walk down the hall for a cup of coffee, pop your head into somebody's office, and ask a quick question and go on your way, or bump into somebody in the hallway. You've got to really make an effort, set up a meeting, call them and hope they're by their phone. And then you're doing it over the phone, and it's not face-to-face. And face-to-face is the way you build relationships. And building those relationships is important to establish yourself in whatever that job is. It's a way to build a community where people are working together toward a common good, a common cause. And that's important on the flip side of what the telecommuting options look like.
Well, I mean, for sure. I mean, God, we've seen it just with this. I mean, I was talking to somebody earlier because they were worried about, they've started doing their show in this format, and it doesn't feel the same to them, and it doesn't, and I'm like, well, yeah, we always tell people it's going to take you, a few episodes to kick the tires and figure stuff out, and this shift to this format has really kind of reset that clock on you, because now you have to figure that out again. And so it's, it's one of those things where, like that dynamic between Bob and I, and Randy, it's still there, but it's 90% there, because there's still a little lag. There's still a little, there's still some off there.
Well, what I'm seeing being in these team meetings all day is, like when you're sitting in a meeting, like we're sitting in a meeting with 20 people, and, someone's speaking, and you can read the room a lot better. There's sidebar conversations. Like I can eat a bag of chips. I can drink a water. You know what I mean? Like there's body language. There's, and what we're seeing now with Teams meetings is just like, it's this. Like I have to look at the camera. I can't eat chips. I can't do a sidebar conversation. It's really hard to read body language because I'm not moving. You know what I mean? But that's, at least we're talking and seeing each other.
Dude, if I had $1 for every time that somebody has commented, Randy's screen froze. No, Randy's just a mannequin.
He's just not moving.
He just doesn't move, and he freaks everybody out. That's
Blink twice if you're in duress, Randy.
Right. Blink twice if Tony is yelling at you from the other room. Yeah.
Yeah. Jason, one thing I want to point out, or I need to point out, is that you guys are nonprofit. This isn't because we've been getting really angry at people giving us sales pitches.
Hey, pay me $500 to rewrite your resume for you. And yeah,
Bob, I appreciate it. Let's talk through this. Our employment staff, you show up with a job target, or you call us with a job target, and you want help with your resume. You want help with LinkedIn. You want help with networking, application. There is no fee. We are a nonprofit. We are funded by donors and grants to be able to provide that service to our community. And that's pretty remarkable. People wanted to charge a lot of money for what is not always great resume advice. For our career counselors, that span of 10 or so weeks, that is a fee-based program. We have a sliding scale. We want that program, and that is accessible to everybody, and it is based on household income. So if you make lots of money, you're going to pay a little bit, you're going to pay more than somebody who isn't employed, or somebody who is just getting out of college and wants that help. But our goal is to make our programs and our staff very accessible. It's important. It's important to what JVS does. It's why we're here. It's why we've been helping people with employment since the 40s.
Well, there's a lot of people in this town that have been really, really pissed at Dave and I over the past 12-ish years or so in the resume writing industry, because we've been the assassins of it.
I can't tell you how many times at whether it was a Shifting Gears event or Michigan Works event or something like that, where like we would get up and we'd show up, like usually it's us, so we would show up like right before we'd have to go on because we were always late and doing something stupid, and we'd get up and start doing our shtick about the 10 commandments of networking, and we mock resume writers, and we mock this and we mock that, and inevitably at one of those 10 would trigger the entire audience to start laughing really, really hard, and one of us would go, oh shit, was the speaker before us telling you the exact opposite that and it was yeah. Yep. And 9 times out of 10 that speaker was still in the room watching us, so yeah, it was phenomenal.
Look, I would tell you that everybody's got an opinion on what a resume should look like, and there's lots of great resources, but you also need somebody who's looked at resumes and can give you good advice and can say, okay, so it's great that you've got a 15-page resume. We see those, but let's pare that way down. Too much detail from your first job out of college when you're onto your 9th job. So,
I actually be a good opinion of yours to get is, so like we always tell people, you should always have. We've written 2 blog entries on our site. Don't be that guy, bad resume guy, and then don't be that guy, bad resume guy too. And one of the things we always talk about in there is you should always have essentially a raw brain dump version of your resume, which may well be 15 pages long. It is what it is. But the only time you use that is when you're doing like a blind submission someplace, like into a recruiting firm or like a whatever, where it's getting fed into, like, a human never even reads it, and it just gets fed into an OCR scanner, and then it winds up in a database somewhere, and you're basically SEO. You're doing search engine optimization on your resume at that point. When you're actually applying for a job, like when you are sending someone a resume for a specific job and you've already had a conversation with somebody about it, 2, maybe 3 pages if you absolutely have to.
yeah, I mean, I'd say 2 pages is really it. I've looked at a lot of resumes over my career. It's tough for me to look to that 3rd page. I mean, it's a lot of information.
So,
and then
you should already know by that point.
Yeah, I mean, you've like mastered those skills, right? Those are experiences that you have, and they're great, and those are skills that you learned. But what you're doing today probably is so far superior to that unless you're looking to take a big step back, the detail of that, I don't think people need to see. And yes, your resume needs to be customized to the job you're applying for. So does your cover letter. If you've got a form resume and a form cover letter, yeah, you're going to probably get a job eventually. But we're coming out of, what did I tell you?
You'll probably
21% unemployment.
You'll probably get a form rejection.
What was that?
I said you'll probably get a form rejection.
Yeah, right. Which is what you may get. So you want to set yourself out from everybody else. 21% unemployment. Now we know some of those people are furloughed and are going back to the job they had, but not everybody. So if you want that job, customize it. Talk to people, figure out who works there, network hard, get people to put in a good word for that hiring manager, customize your cover letter, customize your resume for that job. And by the way, the other thing that people miss, and I don't know why people miss, PDF. You spend hours crafting your resume. Don't send it on a Word file that someone's computer is going to read and make it look like garbage. Save it as a PDF so that whoever's opening it sees it exactly the way you want it. People spend hours, and they should be spending hours making their resume look good, wordsmithing, but don't leave it to chance.
Now, see, one of the interesting things that we heard from several recruiters is do not send it in a PDF because if it's and here's why, very specifically, because if they are a recruiting firm that is still using an older candidate tracking system, a CTS, they don't know how to open a PDF. So that whole, hey, if you're sending a blind resume out to somebody you don't know, if it's a PDF, it may never even hit that OCR software to get into their database because you've sent it in PDF format.
The other thing I see is we just hired a new person, and all the resumes were modified by the staffing agency. So it wasn't just what the candidate sent on. The staffing agency had to put in their.
Oh, that happens a lot. Yeah. Well, but I mean, that's why one of the things we always tell people is if you're actually going in for an interview, always bring multiple copies of your resume that you created for that position with you.
Yeah. And by the way, I've seen resumes come to me through Indeed, and they don't always look so glamorous.
Right.
I think we can hopefully all agree that at the end of the day, hopefully you've talked to somebody or you've been given some version of instruction on what that resume should look like. And if they're asking for a Word document, give them a Word document. If you're sending it directly to a person and you've spoken to them, ask that question. If they're working with old software and it needs to be a Word document, then you can give them that as an option also.
Yeah, because that's the one thing I'm seeing now. I'm seeing both, like, at least the stuff that, because we're still actually interviewing. So like we're doing these types of Zoom interviews. And yeah, for me, it doesn't matter, but it's also been past our applicant system and past our, where it's finally gotten to this point. Well, yeah, that's the thing. Think of the competition on day one when the proverbial starter pistol goes off and we're back, and the competition is going to be fierce. And God knows where everything's going to shake out.
It's going to be fierce, and we want people to be set up for success, which is why, look, the timing of this unfortunately couldn't be better. And Bob, you just mentioned you're doing video interviews. I think more and more companies, not just the screening interview, but those interviews are going to be on Zoom, on Microsoft Teams, on WebEx, whatever the platform. People today that are getting ready should be practicing. They got to be ready to interview on a video. They've got to have a webcam. They've got to get that laptop that has it. They got to get the lighting right. Randy looks good over there. He looks like he's got a light bulb on his face a little bit, but you want to make sure you got the lighting right. And look, we're all in makeshift offices. If you're applying for a job and you've got a full bar like Dave does, maybe not. That's just one of those things people should be thinking about. And one of the other things that if people were laid off is taking a thorough review of their social media. If you don't have your privacy settings up and your, whatever it looks like, if you think maybe a new employer isn't gonna agree with or like or appreciate your humor, lock it up, set your privacy, open it up for your friends, but maybe don't let random people or prospective employers see some of that stuff. That's what LinkedIn is about. That's where the professional networking should be. And whether it's Instagram, Facebook, be careful.
That's part of the 10 Commandments shtick that we've always done is, we've always said, basically LinkedIn is like your office online. Like if it wouldn't be weird for you to call me and say, hey, let's do lunch. Yep, absolutely. We should be LinkedIn connections. Facebook is kind of like my living room. Like if it wouldn't be weird, and I always qualify this and say I wouldn't think it's weird. Not that you wouldn't think it's weird. If I wouldn't think it's weird that I come home and find you in my living room, cool. We should be Facebook friends. Now, granted, that's relaxed a little bit, but still it is what it is. So yeah, I mean, people like blur that line a lot and don't pay attention to their settings and lock stuff down appropriately. And we've heard from people that have lost jobs or lost job opportunities because of their social media presence, and they weren't paying attention to it. And that's incredibly unfortunate. And to your point about the whole video interviewing thing, I will never forget one of our recruiters telling me they set somebody up with a very, very high profile job interview. And when they came online for that initial first video conference, the person that was hiring, or one of the people, it was a group thing, said, would you mind moving to another room so we're not looking at your porn collection behind you?
You can't get a job like that. I mean,
yeah.
And if you don't know how to set that up and you can't figure out how to search for it on Google, find a 12-year-old who will teach you, because they've locked their parents out of their Facebook and their Instagram, so their parents can't see what they're doing, and they will help you.
Well, then everybody wants to do this blurred background and all this other, so that's become the game now, is how stupid of a background you can have during your morning call, which is what work's turned into for me, which is fine. It keeps us entertained, but.
By the way, Star Wars just released their official backgrounds you can use for your Zoom meetings.
Yeah, I shot that story over to our episode discussion.
I have no idea what you're talking about. I have not. They are not all already downloaded and available. I do not have all of them sitting here at my disposal. I don't know. I don't know.
I like that one.
Mine. I keep trying to do Pee-wee's Playhouse, and I don't. It doesn't work for me.
Oh, you're gonna need the green screen.
It's because of the brick background you have. The color you are too similar in color to the bricks behind you.
Yeah, I can't on Microsoft. On Microsoft Teams, I can do a background. My camera and the whatever behind me works. With Zoom, it just doesn't work. But I think there's ways to find appropriate backgrounds for a professional interview. Stage it, right? Take 5 minutes and stage
and
what
look
your
at
bachelor.
yourself. Like, for the love of God, if you're sitting there interviewing for a high-level job and you bring your own camera up and you go, oh, maybe I shouldn't have my entire porn collection listed behind.
Yeah, that's I'd consider that ill-advised. Yeah.
We have a standing call with Microsoft.
Depends on who you're applying for. I mean, if you're
That
going to
too.
work for Pornhub,
Right.
that's
I
an
guess
asset.
it is situational.
No, we have a standing call with Microsoft, and they have it's almost like the Microsoft screensavers with their logo.
Right.
They're doing it as a branding thing. Whatever. I guess whatever works for you at the end of the day.
All right. Well, hey. So
I got one more.
Okay.
Like, let's say 100 people call you tomorrow. I guess how much bandwidth does JVS have to handle this? Because you guys are, it's kind of a Herculean effort to help those people. I guess how much room do you have?
Well, so in some ways we have time on our side, right? So I'd rather 100 people call me tomorrow and give us time to work through the process with them, and it'd take a week for me to get them set up with a meeting with one of my staff, than for us to find out we're in phase 3, stage 3, everything's open, and then 100 people call me and say I have an interview, or all of a sudden my unemployment and the stimulus runs out and I'm having trouble paying the bills and now I need help, right? Like, now is the time. That's the reality. Is your resume can be set today. We can be working on networking. We can be working on LinkedIn today, tomorrow, this week, next week, and get ourselves set up for what's going to come when this economy opens back up. But there's no, look, we all put things off until the very last moment. It's sort of like who we are as a people. But for the people that are gonna jump on it, people that are gonna send me an email, or maybe they've already blown up my inbox, I'm hoping, but people that send me an email, share the email with their friends, that's the time where we can really take the time and do it meaningfully, and do it in a really deliberate way versus just rushing through. We really individualize. It's a one-on-one individualized process. We got to find out where somebody is. Do they have a resume? Is the resume they've been working on? Is it a 10-year-old resume? Because we've got a lot of staff that can do this, but I mean, we can't do 100 people and have everybody set by tomorrow. It just wouldn't work.
Fair. And they can best way is email, right?
Yeah, I mean, the best way is the email. People can also call and leave me a message, 248-233-4245, 248-233-4245. But yeah, the email, I think email is easiest. Give me some basic information, your phone number, a way to get back to you, employmenthelp@jvshumanservices.org. And we'll get people set up and get them ready for that, whether it's they've got a job target and just need help with the resume, the cover letter, the networking, or if it's career counseling and they're like, right, I don't know what I want to do. I'm miserable at work, or I don't like what I'm doing. I need to figure out something totally different, or I'm ready for that next stage in my career, right? I've done what I need to do. Now I want to find something that has really deep personal meaning, where I can really enjoy what I'm doing. And we've got the staff here, and that, of course, that process does take more time than career counseling. And because it takes more time, we work with fewer people as we go through the process. Again, our goal is to personalize it and really, really individualize what we're doing.
Awesome. And just to reiterate, it is a free service. You guys are a nonprofit. There is going to be no upsell after you get through the initial phase. I appreciate it. We are. And the only, like I said earlier, the only program that there is a fee for, and it's a sliding scale based on income, is our career counseling. So that is, but our first session with our career counselors is a complimentary free meeting where we need to talk through what this whole process is going to be like. We need people to call when they're ready, though, also, right? If you're still going through the trauma of being laid off or being, whatever had happened, and you're not ready
to talk about this, you're not in the mindset. Take some time. People have to be ready for it, right? Calling us up and say, I don't know what I want to do, but I need help. And you were laid off yesterday. You're not ready for that yet. There's that processing time that goes through. By the way, I was working for a different nonprofit, 12 years, laid off unexpectedly. It's a tough process. I know what that process is like for people that have been laid off, and it's not fun. But the opportunity at the end can be really positive, and for me, it's worked out really well. Here I am working for JVS, and it's a great nonprofit, a great organization, one that people and I'm really proud to be a part of.
Awesome. Well, we can't thank you enough for your time and for what you guys are doing for the community. Seriously, it's the stories every day we're hearing of people doing awesome things for people that are not having the greatest of times right now. So we just A, thank you, and B, hopefully we can steer some people your way.
Bob, Dave, I really appreciate it. I appreciate the time. I had a great time chatting employment with you guys.
Awesome. Yeah.
Appreciate
it. If you need anything else, you know how to get a hold of us. But in the meantime, we'll promote your email and your contact information as well. And
we'll put that out in the show notes for sure.
I appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
Thanks. Jason Charnas, jvshumanservices.org. Find them online. And if you need any help, let them know. But are we going to take a quick break, Dave, or you just want to keep chugging through?
You want to take a minute? I mean, I don't, for what it's worth, like, I don't want to blast music through this just because Facebook is being bitchy.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm good. We can.
Okay, let's. So, hey, one thing we should, and for what it's worth, I mean, Jason, like I told you beforehand, if you want to hang out, by all means, hang out. If you need to drop off and drop, it's up to you.
Okay, I'm gonna take off, but guys, I appreciate it. Have a good one. I appreciate everything.
All right, have a great week, man. But hey, before we dive in, so Bob, this is one of those things that we've talked about. Hey, so let's talk about the terrible Wi-Fi in the house and having kids.
I haven't had terrible Wi-Fi in a few years.
Why? And well, guess why? Because we both have Eero networks in our house.
Right. I've had zero glitch, nothing. Like throughout this whole thing.
So here's the deal. So Eero blankets your whole home with fast, reliable Wi-Fi, eliminating poor coverage, dead spots, and buffering. You'll have a consistently strong signal wherever you need it. And I was actually just talking to somebody about this today and why this mattered and why they should grab one of these. For a limited time, Eero Mesh Wi-Fi starts at just $79. Eero sets up in minutes and plugs right into your modem or your modem/router box. You manage it from a super simple app. Bob, I think you would agree, this app could not be any easier. That lets you pause the Wi-Fi for dinner, get alerts if any device attempts to join your network. No more Netflix buffering in your master bedroom. No more kids complaining that their Xbox isn't getting a signal. No more worrying that your security cameras will be offline when you need it. So here's again, Bob, and this is why I feel like the upfront part of this is hard for us to do because we've had Eero in our houses for so long. Dude, it's amazing. Like, I love the fact that, especially with them being home now, man, there are TVs. The kids just got new phones for Easter. Well, Sammy got a new phone. John got his first phone, so they're on all the time. The games are going. They're all connected via their tablets for school meetings and all that kind of stuff.
I got about 15 devices connected right now. I'm looking at my app. There's 4 computers, 2 Xboxes. There's our home cams, like 3 Canaries. There's 4 Alexas and 2 Google and Google Homes. So yeah.
Yikes! Yeah, I've there are 22 connected devices. That's almost frightening. And I'm sad they're already all connected. So hey, here's the deal. You can get yours fixed as soon as tomorrow. Go to Eero.com/IT and enter code IT at checkout to get free overnight shipping with your order. That's Eero, EERO.com/IT all put together. Code IT at checkout to get your Eero delivered with free overnight shipping. You've got to use the URL to receive the offer. So that's Eero, EERO.com/IT code IT. Obviously, we love you guys because, I mean, like I said, we have them in our house. It's been amazing. The personal filtering, the being able to like set time limits on the network and all that stuff. Absolutely friggin' love it.
I'm thinking I might need to upgrade soon.
Well,
I don't know if you
so
were-
for what it, like I was just talking to Calvin. Like, so Calvin was saying today, like he was he upgraded his network at home, but the laptop in the back room of his house that he's always had network issues with, he still has network issues with. And I'm like, well, dude, you have to think of networking the same way you think of water flow. Like, so it's, there's big giant pipes at the start of everything, and then the pipes get smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. And so if you still have a small pipe going back to that house because of walls and interference and all that stuff, increasing the fire hose at the front of the house isn't going to change the problem at the back of the house.
Right.
So I actually told him to go take a look at these, and so we'll see how it works out for him.
I don't know if you heard or not. I triggered my I'm not going to name it because it'll trigger again, but my Amazon device just started talking to me as I was trying to mute myself until it turned it off.
Alexa, play Ice Ice Baby.
Stop it.
Ice Ice Baby.
Oh.
He's on music.
I'm going to let it go now. It's going to go to the background.
Amazing.
And
all right,
we're getting taken down.
We have 2 weeks of stories that we have, because we didn't do anything last week, thanks to Mike and Ming being a part of the show, which we love. But wow, do we have a lot of stories.
That's for sure.
It absolutely is playing. That's phenomenal. I'm so happy. And it's just like every party in your basement. That's kind of what we do, is everybody shouts at Alexa and gives her personality disorders because, yeah. That's
I just yelled at it to stop.
All right, so where
actually, you know what? I like talking to the TV stuff. Have you are you familiar with Barstool Sports? Have you ever followed him?
You know what? I've heard about them because of stories that we've talked about here, and I've heard mixed reviews on it, so I don't pay a whole lot of attention to it.
So he kind of started when we started IT in the D, like 03 or 4, when we fired up again. But he was a blogger, and basically he was kind of like us, meaning I take no prisoners. I'll assassinate who I feel like it, and I will not apologize no matter what I say.
Oh, well, now I'm intrigued. Okay.
Well, okay, but the guy, some people think the guy's a jerk, but he'll never back down. He'll never take, and he had all these concerts and all this, basically did his own thing. He does these pizza reviews. But the guy's story is pretty fascinating. Well, I'm watching Howitzer Gate. There's a documentary out on YouTube right now. And I'm like, what the hell is Howitzer Gate? Well, come to find out, he follows paparazzi stuff.
Okay.
And there was a picture of Gisele Bündchen and Tom Brady and her kid on the beach. Well, apparently the 2-year-old kid was hung down to his knees, and the story was about that. And he caught.
What?
Yeah. So the kid, Tom Brady's kid is hung like a howitzer was the clickbait article. So here's this guy goes top of the world, and he does this, and he goes on Howard Stern for it, and Howard Stern's basically going, dude, you're a dick, no pun intended.
Yeah, no, but yeah.
And he's everyone, the police were basically we are going to make your life miserable for the rest of your life unless you take this down. So he ultimately took it down. But they talk to him now, he's I'm not apologizing about it. I'll still do it again. And so that's his whole, I think he's past it now because it was a while ago.
Right.
But this was it. So during this whole documentary part, while the news is speaking about it, because it hit national news, I never heard of it. They're showing clips of German howitzer cannons being fired off while the news is speaking.
Mother of God.
So it's almost they're mocking, but
but they're still talking about it.
Right. And I go, Bo was watching with me. She goes, what in the hell are you watching? I go, apparently this guy put Tom Brady's kid's dong on his website. She goes, why would you do that? It's a dick move. And I go, I know. He goes, if you want to laugh about it with your friends, that's one thing.
Right, yeah, that's a messenger chat. That's not a post.
I know,
yeah.
Exactly. Anyway.
So
that's how starved I am for content that I'm watching Barstool Sports documentaries now.
Hey, it's a thing. It's understandable. But and speaking of starved for content, I mean, so we watched Motor City Comic Con drop. We watched, we started with Toledo, then a couple other cons. Motor City Comic Con dropped, and now San Diego Comic Con dropped. And there are a lot of people that are really starting to wonder, are Comic Cons as they are today going to come back on the other side of this? because it's not just, hey, are you and I and Randy going to want to go sit in a booth, for 10 hours a day with 70,000 people, 100,000 people, 200,000 people walking around. But our celebrities, which, let's be candid, are the big draw for this, going to want to shake hands, they're throwing an arm around somebody's shoulder to get that $50 selfie, that $100 photo op.
If I'm Ian Ziering, am I going to go to Detroit and shake hands with 3 people the entire weekend? I don't know, maybe.
I feel like he's been socially distanced the entire every con he's ever been at. Like, let's be clear.
Him and Virgil.
Virgil, yeah.
No, at the end of the day, people are going to have to. You're going to have to shake someone's hand. I don't think handshaking is done. It can't be, dude. Like this is just because this happened now. Is it going to happen again? I don't. It seems like we deal with one of these things every 2 years. So for the last 15, 16 years.
Yeah.
This is the first time that we stopped doing shit because of it. But people need to hug and shake hands and all that stuff.
Yeah, for real, it's true. But again, from the content side, I love that this became a thing. Disney Plus got called out because they've got Splash, the old Tom Hanks, Daryl Hannah movie. And there's a great, let's be honest. There's a great scene in that movie where Tom Hanks is standing on the beach, and he watches Daryl Hannah run back and jump into the ocean. And as us as kids, hey, Daryl Hannah's butt is in that shot as she's running off into the ocetion. Disney went back.
When you paused it though on a VHS, it didn't come in as clear as when you can now though.
Now if you pause it on Disney Plus, you won't see anything because they've used their CGI hair effects to extend her hair down over her ass as she's running off into the ocean.
Oh,
wow!
In the meantime, one of the clouds is shaped like a penis. Because some artists snuck it in.
And several other, the sex in the Aladdin movie and all that stuff in the clouds and all that. Well, and that's the thing. But it gets back to the heart of it. And they actually talked about this in the article where, dude, I'm still mad at George Lucas, for, the special editions and all of a sudden Greedo shoots first. Do the respective holder or owners of things, do they have the right to change it? And even if they do, should they?
Just to quote Star Wars Episode 2, I go, depends how big his pocketbook is, how much money he's got.
Well, and that's the sad part. E.T. got re-released, and all the special agents running around, the FBI agents, no longer have guns. They've got walkie-talkies. What?
Did that happen?
Oh God, yeah, that happened. That happened a while ago.
Wow.
Oh.
Dude, that's why that South Park episode, that's why they called out both Lucas and Spielberg, was because of that ET edit.
Dude, I had no idea. That's insane.
Oh, no, that's an absolute thing. But hey, you must be thrilled to know that the WWE was declared an essential service, and they were all essential employees.
Come on.
How you love it? How you loving those fanless matches there, Skippy?
I won't watch it. I can't. It's unwatchable. It literally is like I said. It's like watching. I think my comment was WrestleMania was like watching batting practice for the World Series in an empty stadium. It just done nothing. It's really bad. And now the worst thing that they could ever do. So we talked about WrestleMania with the cinematic matches.
Right.
Money in the Bank. The WWE building is 15, 16 stories or whatever.
Yeah.
Match is gonna start on the first floor and the briefcase is on the roof.
So it's Donkey Kong.
It's Donkey Kong. Only if they throw someone off the roof will I even minorly want to watch.
Or if they throw barrels, I'm okay with barrels.
Why can't they just take a break like the other sports? Just come on. Let everyone heal up. You know what I mean?
Because Vince, because ego.
Is it though? I don't. No, you know what the thing was? That they have competition now. If you're not following the wrestling business, that guy that owns the Jacksonville Jaguars put $1 billion into that, into
Right.
the product. If they shut off, I think he would shut off. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't, But then again, if you look at, he owes Fox Friday night primetime content.
Right.
Like, Fox is not going to say, like, oh, that's okay, you can take a break. No, like, you owe me.
I mean,
content.
it's Fox. I'm sure they could they could throw Married with Children reruns in there and be perfectly fine.
On Channel 2? I don't think so.
But so just like talking about essential services, so a couple things came out that I thought were interesting when it comes to like restaurants, bars, that kind of stuff. Because I mean, let's be real, alcohol is near and dear to our hearts. The story that came out that said so last week, when the story we didn't get to said 46%. That story has since been updated this week to 60% of all breweries in the state of Michigan may close by June if things don't get relaxed and they don't get open and running again.
So if you think about draft beer, that a lot of people don't realize or don't know, that it's like milk. The beer in the bottle is pasteurized. So the draft beer that you get from a tap handle is it spoils.
It only lasts so long, yeah.
Right. So like all that product they have, it all shit the bed. It all got to be dumped. That's millions of dollars.
Well, and I guess related, and actually, this actually wasn't one of the stories that I threw across, but one of the things that's related that I read that said the state of Michigan will buy back liquor bottles from bars and restaurants.
Yeah, they have until Friday the 24th at 5 p.m. to fill out the form. And then they have to hold onto them until the MLCC comes and picks them up, which could be up to 90 days.
Yep.
But if this ends before then, are they just buying back their own bottles that they are still holding onto in their bar?
So, yes, yeah, exactly. That's
the one thing that I'm like seeing, I think my cousin Kristen, she works at a place called Bubba's, like on Hall Road. And I like that a lot of these places are like kind of retooling. They're doing carry out.
Yep.
But they're doing like family packs. So you're getting 4 burgers, a pizza box of fries, and like maybe like a couple cookies for like $25, 20. You know what I mean? Like the places that are like doing these special menus for like to-goes. I think those are the ones that are, people are gravitating towards, because you're not going to order 4 dinners. You know what I mean? From like P.F. Chang's. You know what I mean? You want get it all at once. I don't know.
There's also the petition for the state of Michigan to allow for cocktails and spirits to go.
Yeah, once they pass that, we're all going to be allowed to go to the bar again.
Can the governor do it by executive order?
Who knows?
Yeah, I think that's what that's the big debate is what can and can't they do by executive order. The other one though that was related to that, where did I throw that? This was amazing. That so there's the essential services. There was all the the money that went out for the Paycheck Protection Act. That was gone basically as soon as it was released.
Yeah.
One story was that strip clubs were prohibited from getting in on the action, so to speak. And so there's a federal lawsuit that was filed about that, originating with, I believe it was the Hustler Club in the Metro Detroit area. And then the other story that came out today is Shake Shack announced that they were returning the $10 million that they had got from it, which, I mean, it's crazy when you look at it at face value, like, because, I mean, you alluded to this in our first segment. You've got Shake Shack that got 10 million. You've got Ruth's Chris that got 20. I mean, dude,
those guys aren't the bad guys.
No, they're not.
But what happened was they filed just like any other business did, and their shit got approved, and then they ran out of money, and then people got left with holding their dick in their hand, and it's not their fault. But like, I guess good on Shake Shack. We're just saying, yeah, we don't need it as bad as most of these other people need it, so here we're going to give it back.
Well, because they got approved for other sources of funding. They got access to other lines of credit and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And that's why they're saying they no longer need it.
But also big enough to weather it. The Jimmy's burger stand around the corner from my house isn't going to make it.
Well, no, I mean, honestly, so that was one of the things that I think was really interesting in that article was that know that they're actually not big enough to weather it. Because I mean, that's one of the things they talked about is, the restaurant margins are so thin to begin with that, even these individual locations that, yes, they only have, 30 to 40 employees each, because that was the loophole was, yes, you could be a conglomerate with, 1,000 locations, but as long as you have less than 500 employees at each location, and what restaurant do you know that has 500 employees at a location? You could still, get in under the wire for this and get approved. Yeah.
Did you see the tweet from that police department in Maryland?
Which one?
Basically, it says, please remember to put pants on before leaving the house and check your mailbox. You know who you are.
I was like, was that I thought that was a Facebook post.
Was it? I'm looking
Yeah,
at
I thought it was a Facebook post. That was, you know who you are. This is your last warning.
But like, didn't somebody say like on Zoom, like someone said when you're on a video chat, make sure that you have a shirt on. I forget what that one was. Did you hear about that? Like people are doing weird shit these days, like like not checking their surroundings or backgrounds.
Well, we just talked about that with people going to job interviews with their porn stash in their background. For the love of God.
Not only that, like when you're wearing, you got to be careful, Dave, to not have gay porn on your computer.
Yeah, I totally have to be carefel about that. Yeah, absolutely.
Because you can see the reflection of your glasses.
God knows what's on the TV in the background behind me when I'm just sitting here. No, and then let's talk about our hero of the week. Our hero of the week.
Sandwich?
Huh?
Sandwich?
No, it's not a hero. A hero. The 93-year-old lady in Pennsylvania who posted a sign in her window, like she was talking to people across the street with signs, and her sign, as she's holding a Coors Light can, said, "I need more beer." Miller Coors dropped off 10 cases to her.
The picture is hysterical. Like, if you can you see it, or is it too?
It's kind of washed out, but yeah.
Anyway, it's freaking hysterical. She's got this huge shitty grin on her face, and like, I guess it's good to have a sense of humor about this stuff, eh?
But yeah, I mean, God bless her, and God bless Miller Coors for actually dropping 10 cases for her, because like she's like, yeah, I drink 1 or 2 a day. It's good for my health, and yada yada yada, and yeah, good for her.
Yeah, I'm just everything I'm looking at. It's like, when are we opening up? I mean, I just getting to the point where people are like, they've lost their minds. Like you tell the pulse on social media right now, and like just what people are doing. Like, I think they're done. They're just done.
And I get it. And you look at, and this is like, so this is the hard, like, this is where I think a lot of people are having a really hard time with it. And I get it, is everybody wants a definite answer as far as, give me a date where this is going to be, where this is going to end. Don't give me this, we're extending it 2 weeks. We're extending it 2 weeks. We're extending, how do you keep an idiot in suspense? I'll tell you tomorrow. Don't keep doing that to me. And the sad reality is, like, dude, there are no concrete answers with this. There are no definite.
I think it would be uneducated to give a concrete. You can't just throw out, we're going to be good in a month, because like, isn't Italy, they're getting a second wave right now?
Yep, and they're just discovering that, oh, hey, maybe getting it once isn't a protective measure for it, because and this gets into that whole, because a lot of the tests that first came out, maybe the CDC said, yeah, we didn't really manufacture these properly the first time around, and so now if you can get reinfected, does that change the ball game? And so it's going to be weird. Like, you've got places like Ohio. I shot it across, or I posted it the other day, where I read through the federal and the state guidelines for how they want to open stuff up, and I felt like I was reading the Underpants Gnomes manifesto, where it was like, okay, step 1, shelter in place. Step 2, step 3, everything's fine again.
Profit. Yeah.
And and I do. I mean, you look at, like, everybody wants, they want to, and if you read the guidelines and read like how they want to do stuff, they do. They want to see a step down. They want to see, they want to see a decrease in hospital cases. They want to see a significant flattening of that curve and all that kind of stuff, which is great. But then, my biggest fear, and this is what we keep talking about, is, people are dumb, and people are so stupid that the minute my biggest fear is that, okay, let's say it is May 1, and they go, hey, we're going to relax just this much, and start to loosen things up a bit. People are just going to go, and
Dude,
it's going to be mayhem.
You've seen the gifs, like as soon as the bars open up and it's freaking Forrest Gump running down the driveway. Like
Absolutely. Dude, there's not a doubt in my mind. That's my fear, is I'm okay, great. I'm going to wait at least a good 2 or 3 weeks after they start saying things can open up and relax before. I mean, dude, as much as I love and miss Whiskey in the Jar, Temple Bar, all that stuff, I'm good. I'm going to wait a couple weeks and just kind of sit back and see what happens, because I expect people to be dumb.
I'm lucky enough where I'm on my damn crutches, so I wouldn't be going anyway.
Well, and so there's, one of the things that you and I had talked about the other day, because we were talking about, the whole, I can't buy seeds at Meijer, whatever. But that's one, dude, so the whole non-essential surgery thing, you fall squarely in that category, for real.
Well, I was supposed to, if I couldn't walk at 3 months from discharge from the hospital, I basically had to get this surgery. It's called manipulation under anesthesia, where they wrench your knee. Right now, I still lack movement, or I can't bend it. I can't walk. So basically, they knock you out and do that. Well, I can't get that done. Well, he goes, after 3 months, it becomes, every month after, it becomes essentially harder and harder and harder, because it'll just stick like that forever. Like, you can't manipulate anymore. So now I got an emergency appointment on Wednesday, just to go, what the hell are my options? What can I do?
Right.
He ordered a brace for me. It doesn't get covered by insurance. So yeah, I'm one of those ones, what's an essential surgery, right? If I'm going to be in essence crippled because of the shit, is that essential?
That would kind of seem essential to me.
Well, I know there's people dying, and I'm not going to put myself ahead of nobody that's literally that needs, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to take a hospital bed because of the shit. But
right.
At the end of the day, there's people with diabetes. There's people dude, I would hate right now. There's people that are giving birth right now. Dude, I would be scared
Amber.
Right.
Dude, our friend Amber,
right.
God, you DJ'd her wedding. We were there for, her wedding to Perry. Just gave birth to twins 3 days ago in the midst of all this nonsense. I mean,
imagine.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We'll see what they say Wednesday. Hopefully, knock on wood, we'll be able to do something. So I'm getting fed up. You know what I mean? I can't go anywhere, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah, you're locked in. Hey, one more before we carry on. I want to make sure we get this in. So, hey, with the Capital One Quicksilver card, you earn unlimited 1.5% cash back on every purchase, everywhere. That's unlimited 1.5% cash back on everything you buy. And unlimited really means unlimited. With Quicksilver, there's no limit on how much cash back you can earn. Capital One, what's in your wallet? Credit approval required. Capital One Bank, USA, NA. There, I feel like I did a good job.
What crappy movies? I just watched Rambo, the new one, and here's the thing: I don't mind if it's like Rocky and now he's coaching his kid to beat up Drago's kid. And
okay.
Creed's kid, but dude, you're the suspension of disbelief just gets thrown out the window with me when you're 70-some-odd-year-old man and you're taking on an entire drug cartel by yourself. And I'm just yeah, it was an entertaining movie and it was a fun watch, but it's ain't nobody first thing I told my wife, I go, at least with De Niro and Pacino, they're playing old men in movies. They're not he's not Raging Bull 5.
Right. Yeah, no, they're playing the patriarch of the family. It's
right.
not,
right.
Yeah.
You actually got Rambo I'm beating people up. Dude, you ain't beating up shit. Sorry.
You know what's holding up really, really well? You talked about Pretty in Pink not holding up. So I'm going back and burning through The Sopranos again, just because it's there on Hulu and I can't stop myself. Dude, that is still hands down. I will throw that. I will put that as the top drama series ever created.
That's my new Godfather. I've never seen one. Never watched one episode.
I haven't watched The Sopranos either.
Not one?
No.
Yeah, I've never watched any. I know.
Dave's in shock.
I know. Dude, we've talked about this. I've never seen it.
Watch it for the love of God.
See, now my next two, I was gonna rewatch Kenny Powers and I was gonna rewatch Entourage.
If you are not, I tell you what, if you are not hooked on The Sopranos by episode 4,
are they hour-long episodes?
They're usually about 50 minutes.
God damn it!
But if you are not absolutely freaking hooked and then compelled to burn through them, I will be stunned. I will be absolutely stunned.
The problem is it's going to be like Ozark, where we caught up 3 seasons in like a weekend.
Oh, right. It's going to be like 3 a.m. We playing one more? Yeah, we're playing one more.
Yeah, that's what it was, like 4 a.m. and I'm like, oh my God, I got to go to bed. There's another one, like, dude, Amazon Prime is, for as much stuff as they have, there's so much shite and garbage. Like,
for sure.
I was trying to watch like whatever, something like some corny. I've been looking for like Porky's and like trying to watch like that.
Do you have Hulu?
No, I never.
Okay, so Hulu actually has a category called raunchy retro films.
Yeah, so does yeah.
And it's like Cheerleader Summer and Summer School and
Amazon Prime's got that crap too.
Oh, okay. I've got it, but I haven't looked through it as much as I've looked through those.
Yeah.
Honestly, I feel like, and I almost feel bad. Like, Amazon Prime is the service that I've had forever, and I never think to look at it.
It was absolute toilet until maybe like, I don't know, Randy, you what, like 9 months ago maybe, where they started adding content, because there's always like
when Chuck
movies.
Chuck left Netflix and went to Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
And so I watched it on Amazon Prime, and that's
that started.
Okay.
And then they started adding movies, because there's always like 14 movies, and it was always like Popeye and like something shitty. Like, there was never anything good on it.
I've heard good things about a lot of the Amazon originals, like Man in the High Castle or Marvelous Miss Maisel, and they have the car show, not Top Gear, but the show, the Grand Tour, whatever.
Never watched it. Yeah, literally, I'm scraping YouTube right now for shit to watch. Like, that's how bad it's gotten. Like, literally, I'm watching History Channel on, like, what did I watch? The History of the Butcher. Like, not like the guy from, like, actually butchers, like grocery store, but like.
Right. Yeah. No, I figured you weren't talking about. Yeah.
My favorite YouTube channels right now are Bon Appetit. They're a bunch of videos from the test kitchens there, and then How to Drink. A guy makes cocktails, goes into the history of them, but as he makes a new version, you can tell as he goes through the take, he's progressively more drunk because he's filmed several episodes in a day.
What are you trying to say?
I'm actually playing a shit ton of Battlefield 5 now. I finally got my weapon ramped up enough where I don't suck so bad.
Okay.
And that game's a absolute blast. It's World War II. If you've played any of the Battlefields or Call of Duties, they're phenomenal. The series, Battlefield series, is phenomenal.
So there was one other story that I forgot about. I was trying to get to with the whole essential stuff. What was your take on? Hey, we're running out of carbon dioxide, and so there might be a shortage of like seltzers and beer and carbonated beverages in general.
I was gonna make a global warming joke. There's just grab it out of the air. There's extra CO2 in the air. Fix global warming, make CO2. No,
or just pull it out of the air. Yeah.
No, so like I don't even know how the hell you produce. Like you're talking the fizzy, put fizzy shit in pop.
Right. Yeah.
How is there a shortage on that? Like, don't you just like grow it? Like I don't.
It's a byproduct of ethanol. So
and there's the problem is the ethanol plants are shutting down.
You're a byproduct.
You're a byproduct. The ethanol plants are shutting down because there's not as much demand, and so they're not creating as much, so therefore they're not selling off as much to all these other services. And so, it's a little weird.
Did you see how much gas is now?
Dude, I've joked. Like, I feel like I'm 16 again. Gas is below $1 and I'm grounded. Like, what the hell?
Well, what did
oil's trading at pennies a penny a barrel.
No,
wasn't it negative?
It went negative.
Negative.
Yeah.
Yes.
So they're paying you $1 to buy
Dude, why do I not have a 500-gallon storage tank in my backyard right now? Like, that would be. I mean, I guess then I'd also have to have a refinery or whatever.
Yeah.
Still.
Good luck with that.
I mean,
That means the
fill
crude.
your swimming pool with crude.
Right. That's right. The dogs drink ethyl.
All right. What else is going on? I'm done.
You've had enough fun for one night?
Yeah.
Dude, we can wrap. We're good.
All right. Figure hour and a half.
Yeah.
Oh, did you? This was probably good news for you, Bob. Bird and Lime pulled out of Detroit.
Yeah, I saw like they're coming back, but like they pulled out. So why was it even a story? Like,
oh, I didn't see a follow up about them coming. That was one of the ones from 2 weeks ago we didn't get to. That Bird and Lime both pulled out of Detroit, and dude, that's been my running joke for the last couple of years. Is it's spring in Detroit when the idiots are trying to kill themselves in the goddamn electric scooters again.
So apparently, Spin is the only scooter company currently operating in the city.
Which
so
I
still scooters.
I don't think I've ever seen one. Like I've seen
Spin's the orange one.
I don't think I've ever actually I don't think I've seen one of those in the wild.
I would pay good money to see how many of those things get wrecked. So let's say they drop off 200 of them in the city. Like how many of them are still operational? Like 6 months later.
Dude, we talked about that. Dude, remember that episode we had Andy Diderossi on, which you know what, and I feel like I've got to give him an enormous shout out. So Andy we had on a while ago talking about his Operation Freebird thing, because when he tried to he was doing the whole hunt down scooters to get them for charging, found a lot of them in the neighborhoods and that kind of stuff, and kids were using them because they were there, and so he gave a whole bunch of free ones away. Dude, he's converted his entire operation at Detroit Bus Company into creating hand sanitizer and that kind of stuff. And he's now he's getting ingredients by the tanker truck now, and pumping out just hundreds and thousands of gallons of this stuff, trying to help people. And so Detroit Bus Company.
Is he collabing with Valentine by any chance? Because I know they're putting stuff out too.
No, I think he's doing this. This is him. Their entire facility has just been converted into basically a production line for hand sanitizer right now. And it's phenomenal.
Huh.
But no, a lot of the alcohol companies, I know not only Valentine, but Detroit City Distillery is doing the same thing. Like a lot of the booze production companies have converted over, but Andy's legit mass producing it and doing a phenomenal job getting it out to places that actually need it.
So what happens now? Shit goes back to normal. It's May 1st. And now there's 13 billion masks, 87 trillion ventilators, 9 gazillion gallons of,
So that's one of the stories.
Sanitizer.
That's one of the stories we didn't get to is, okay, so why there's a shortage of toilet paper, and why stores aren't keeping up with some demands and that kind of stuff.
Why? Because you're eating your own cooking now.
Well, no, but so people go off and they try to they try to hoard this stuff, or they buy it thinking it's going to be a doomsday scenario, whatever, and everything has switched so much to a just-in-time delivery system that they know the store's typical buying patterns, and they know the store's typical run rates and all that stuff. And so when anomalies like this happen, no, they can't keep up with it. Like the production facilities can't keep up with it, let alone getting it in stock again and that kind of stuff. And I think things are starting to normalize out again.
I was going to say, it seems like it's a perpetuating problem too. Like you can't get toilet paper all the time. So when you do see it available, then you
go buy a shit ton
buy
of
a bunch more.
No
And that just solves the problem, causes more of the same problem.
Well, no, I hopefully it's starting to level out, because yesterday I managed to get both and this again, another story we didn't get to is hey, just switch to online grocery shopping. Well, good luck with that, because finding a delivery window has been damn near next to impossible.
Not happening.
But so yesterday I managed to get both a shipped delivery window for Meijer and an Instacart delivery window for Aldi. And the Aldi window was for tomorrow. The Meijer window was for today. And Meijer, there was one thing she had to substitute. That's it. Like, so, okay, not that big a deal. So hopefully things are starting to mellow out a bit, and people are not freaking out as much. I mean, it has to happen at some point, for the love of God.
We're on an auto ship on like a few things in the house, like and TP was one of them, and we didn't get our shipment like every 2 months. It's like a big ass box shows up at the front, and like my wife was so mad that it wasn't here because it's like, aren't we like listed as like a priority customer? We're not getting the service that we normally.
I thought we were Amazon Prime, Bob.
Like, yeah, babe, it doesn't work like that. You go pretty soon. I go for another week. You're gonna have to learn the fine art of waffle stomping.
So, Dave, I know you've got the Star Wars backgrounds. Did you order yourself a Star Wars Instant Pot?
No, but Bob, that's why I love that meme. January 1st, 2020. This is going to be my year. April 9th, 2020. Wiping my ass with an old tortilla.
Ew.
Mom's not making tamales. It's toilet paper.
Right? Yeah. No, I did not, dude. I still haven't got an Instapot. I still haven't bought an Instapot. I still have not bought an air fryer. Like, I feel like I'm one of the last people on the planet that are the holdouts from those two things.
So there's a YouTube channel called Pressure Luck, not Press Your, but Pressure.
No money, no whammies, big money, and stop. Yeah.
If you look at the Pressure Luck on him making pastrami, you'll buy an Instapot. He said it's just as good as Katz's Deli.
No shit.
Yeah, it's like a 3-day process, and it looks legit.
Okay.
I hear good thing. I have an Instant Pot myself, and I love cooking with it when I do. But the air fryer is just a glorified toaster oven. Like,
yeah,
if you have a toaster oven, use that, and you don't need an instant air fryer because they do the same thing. And
it's got the dehydrate. The dehydrate thing, and you could put like Rally's fries in there from the freezer.
Well, no, I guess the good side is that's one of the things. Like, I'm cooking a lot more, and I'm teaching my daughter how to cook. Like, she and I are cooking a lot together, which is kind of cool. I don't know how healthy it is. Because I love the Maury Povich. Hey, just stay at home and cook more, and you'll lose weight. Yeah, the lie detector detected that was a lie.
Right.
It's cupcake wars in this house. Every night, I've had some sort of like fancy ass, like really good dessert. Like bare minimum, it was cookies.
Nice.
High end was Golden Graham s'mores.
Ooh.
Ice cream. Oh, it was good, man. Like, that was
did the Fruity Pebbles Rice Krispie treats. That's the whip.
Those.
All right. Well, hey, we can wrap this up.
Yeah.
Bob, do your thing.
Yeah, we're gonna wrap things up. This episode 344, the one and only IT and the D show. I'd like to thank Eero and Capital One for keeping the lights on behalf of Bob, Dave, and Randy.
And hey, I want to thank. We had a lot of people that joined on the live video tonight. And I didn't get to all the comments and all that kind of stuff, but dude, guys, I really want to thank you for watching and paying attention to us. You guys know video is not something that we're extremely comfortable with. Our running joke is faces for radio. It's kind of what we do. But this is a format that you guys seem to like and want to interact more with. So we'll keep doing it. And we appreciate you being around.
I'm fine with it. So yeah, on behalf of Bob, Dave, and Randy, do us all a favor. Drink up your drinks, get your phone numbers. You got to stay home and don't get the hell out of here. See you next week. Walk to your bedroom carefully. Eat it.
See you guys.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm going to